believe we have a caller that wants to talk about Belichick.
Let's go to Ned in Vienna. Hey, Ned, what's up, man? You're on with the Junkies.
Good morning, gentlemen. EB, I don't know what to say to you, so I'm going to go to Lurch and the other fellas.
You're just going to ignore me?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why.
All right.
You may think you're lost cause.
The stars are aligned for Bill Belichick. Okay,
Why?
Where did Saban come from? Belichick's staff. Where did Mike Vrabel come from?
Yeah.
He came from Belichick. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't give Brady, you don't give Belichick. Everyone says, oh, it's all Brady. Belichick had the stones to go against what everybody recommended when they were trying to win their first Super Bowl, and he said, you know what?
You're going to stick
We're
with Brady.
winning, and I'm sticking with Brady
Right.
over Drew Bledsoe.
That was a good call. I'm not saying he's a bad coach.
I remember a Monday night game several years ago, and New England came out, and they threw the ball over 20 straight times.
Right.
This guy knows more football than anyone's put together. We're going to get a quarterback, one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the country. We're going to get Caleb or Drake May. We've got 5 high draft picks. We've got $80 million in cap space. The stars are aligned for us to. Do you want to win, or do you want to have a guy who you like at the press conferences? That's the decision you have to make, because this guy is the guy.
Yeah, but you know what's inescapable? And you can ignore me, I guess. But as Ross pointed out, in like the 10 seasons without Brady, he's got what, 1 playoff win? Is that what he said?
Yep.
1 playoff win in 10 seasons without him.
I remember you can't have perfection in sports. The NFL, it's a field goal league just about every week, and especially the way it's set up
So
now.
you think he's
And
just
here's
a field goal away in some of those seasons, or just a turnover away?
He was this year. The difference between 4-13 and 11-6 is field goals. Yeah. But, and here's another
I
thing
completely
too.
disagree
I don't know
with
about that, bro.
I think you're misguided on
One
that.
more. May I make one more point?
Quickly, yes. Go ahead.
Okay, New England, the weather. Guys went to New England. Why? Because they wanted to win championships. The weather here is way better, and it's going to be much easier to recruit top guys to come to Washington than it was to New England.
I do love weather angles, but this seems kind of wacky, Trav. I see you're smirking behind the glass, too. Do your best
How many guys want to
impersonation.
Go ahead.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for the call.
So
Look, sure, weather has anything to do with it.
there are guys out there, and Ned he's old school, obviously.
Yeah, sure.
That are in the Belichick camp.
I mean, he's a Hall of Fame coach. I'm
yeah.
not saying he's not.
I
Just hasn't had recent success.
He wouldn't be my first choice, all right? I'd actually take Vrabel over him, and
Right.
Ned was
I'd rather have
probably
Vrabel.
driving off the road.
I'd rather have Pete Carroll.
But I wouldn't mind having him just because he knows football. He knows how to win, but he can't make the decisions on drafting and free agencies.
His personnel
Absolutely
decisions have been
not.
terrible.
He can't do that. If someone else is going to make that decision and he's just going to be the X's and O's guy, you can't hate it.
If you want the next Mac Jones-like quarterback wearing a Commander's uniform, by all means, bring in Bill Belichick.
Dude,
Bring in that guy.
I simply can't deal with him at the podium for 4 years. I can't.
I think you'd be able to get past that. It would
He's
really
a
drive you that
grumpy
crazy.
douche.
If he's winning, you'd get past it.
He doesn't win. He hasn't won lately.
It's been bad
All right,
lately.
if Belichick becomes the head coach of the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
What's their projected win total immediately next year? I'm telling you, it's probably
9 or 10.
9 or 10.
I don't know. I don't know enough about their personnel. I know they have a quarterback, but I don't know enough about their personnel.
Yeah, I mean, they would become probably a favorite in the AFC to compete for AFC
Well,
championship.
because he would go into a situation where he had a quarterback.
It sounds like there's a lot of steam.
That might be a great fit for him.
A lot of steam for Belichick to Atlanta. Because Adam Schefter in the last
I think
hour
that's a no-brainer.
has tweeted twice about it. His most recent tweet, Falcons owner Arthur Blank has taken some big swings at other high-profile head coaches in the past. He once pursued but didn't land Joe Gibbs. Once pursued, didn't land Bill Parcells. Now the Falcons have a head coach opening, and Bill Belichick is a free agent.
All right.
It sounds like there's a lot of momentum pushing him down south to Atlanta.
All right, let's flip the script. Let's go to Ian in Vienna. All right, you had Ned in Vienna, who's a big Belichick guy.
Okay.
Let's go to Ian.
All right.
Ian.
Point, counterpoint.
I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Ian, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, I would say no to Belichick for multiple reasons. The sample size is large enough in Cleveland, in New England, and post-Brady. The wins are just not there. A lot of people want to say, take away player personnel from him. When you bring him into the room, his aura is so large that there's no way he would just coach the team. And frankly, I don't think he's a very good coach post-Brady. The decisions he's made on offense to bring in Matt Patricia was criminally negligent. That shows a level of arrogance where it says, this guy has no offensive background, but watch this, I'm going to bring him in. His coaching tree is as pathetic as there is. Crennel Weiss, Charlie Weiss, Josh McDaniels, Joe Judge. I mean, the list is long. Yes, you can say Saban's off that tree. I don't consider Vrabel particularly off that tree, but if you want to give it to him, that's fine. But the sample size is large enough. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get Josh McDaniels back as OC. He's such a toxic personality. We've seen it twice with him in Denver and in Oakland, how hated he is.
Yeah, why is he such a douche? What is McDaniel's deal?
I mean, I remember hearing about McDaniels when he was the head coach in Denver.
Right.
Like, he would just bring Jay Cutler in and
berate him?
Just berate him, curse
Right.
that in front of the whole team, rake him over the coals, and guys just don't want to be treated like that.
Right.
Well, I don't know if you recall Pat Bowlen fired McDaniels in London before they even got on the plane because he was just such an unprofessional person.
Wow.
And to me, I don't want Belichick even as the defensive coordinator. And I know I'm exaggerating to make a point.
You
I
feel
just
like he's
think
toxic?
I feel like his aura is so large that there is not a head coach that could work with him, an owner that could work with him, a GM where he wouldn't own the room. And with Grant Paulson, he makes a great point. I want to have an ownership GM head coach that seemed like an equal partnership. Mm-hmm. When you bring in someone that's got such a big personality, it doesn't matter who the other people are. They dwarf them. Here we have three potentially new people who can grow together. Give me a new GM. Give me a new head coach. Give me a new quarterback. And frankly, a new NFL owner. And they can work in tandem. You rarely get this opportunity.
Who do you like then? Who's your leader in the clubhouse?
I don't know, maybe like guys like Ben Johnson or Slowick.
Ben Johnson, that's my
so
guy.
they're all going to throw out the young 35-year-old, unproven as head coaching candidate.
Those guys are definitely big risks.
Give me the up-and-comer, hot shot offensive
That's what,
guy. Valdez scoffs at it.
A lot of people say that.
You know what? I'm tired. These people have no social skills.
Or
you need an alpha. You don't need some pipsqueak with nerd glasses who can.
You don't want some guy in joggers
who can write on a big board and design a billion plays.
That's a great. Every offensive player on your team.
That is a great. That is a great OC.
Does.
That is a great OC. But you need a person who can command a room, who can command an auditorium,
okay,
who
so
can
who's
relate.
That
who can
guy?
relate.
Who's your guy?
Who can relate to players? Anthony Weaver. I told you, I'm an Anthony Weaver guy. I'm a Mike Vrabel guy. These are alphas who can relate to the players, who know how to motivate players.
How do you know Ben Johnson isn't a super alpha that you're describing?
Who has their players ready to run through a wall for them? Ben Johnson is like the good doctor. All right. He is.
I don't get the reference.
Autistic, basically?
I don't get the reference.
He's butt smart, but no people skills whatsoever.
How do you know that?
I've studied all the
Ben
candidates
Johnson so well.
What do you watch Hard Knocks? Or
I've
something?
studied all the candidates. Okay. I don't want some nerd with a whiteboard who can design plays up and down
because he's going to make your offense score 25 to 30 points a game.
That's great for an OC. I'm not saying he's a bad OC.
Talent. You better have the talent to score 30 points a game.
I agree with that, but he's going to take the talent that's already here, make it better, and bring in new talent to mesh with it. That's the way I look at it.
So to counter your point, if Vrabel's so tough and such an alpha and players run through his room, why are they losing?
He's
They
bad
didn't lose.
quarterback
They
play.
didn't lose all the time, and he's got no talent. They got no. What talent do they have?
He has a part of that. You do realize he has a part in the talent acquisition. If you watch him at the Combine, he was very instrumental in who they're picking up, and he was a big part of the Malik Willis thing. Then he was a big part of the Will Levis thing. So, again, Vrabel is going to come with an aura that's going to be player personnel control, and I want those two functions completely
I think
separate.
we agree with that. I think we agree with
Thank
that.
you,
Vrabel was
Ryan. Appreciate the
distraught
call,
when they
man.
traded A.J. Brown. He didn't want to trade A.J. Brown.
Right,
He doesn't have a
monetary
he doesn't have a hand in the pot of.
I don't feel
of-
like Vrabel would come in and demand personnel control.
no.
No, I don't think so either.
I haven't
don't think
gotten
so
that
either.
sense. What if we get
Well, and he's not-
Vrabel
and he's not-
you get your guy Peters
Yeah, and
from
that's-
San Fran?
That
You
would
don't
be a
like
good-
that combo?
That'd be
They
a
can
good
work in
partnership.
tandem.
Yeah, that'd be a good partnership.
That would work. I wouldn't.
You don't like that?
I do. I hear you on the Mike McDaniel, the nerdy guy with the playbook, et cetera. But I think what I'm trying to say is when you bring in people into a room that are all equal, they work better together. Like, just think of yourselves. If I brought Colin Cowherd in the room, he would suck the
We would out.
oxygen
No,
out
are
of-
you kidding? We'd
Are you
out
kidding?
alpha that dude in
Yeah.
2 seconds.
He would get bullied and joned on and
Trust
cry
me.
in the
So much
corner.
Trust me,
joning.
we've had so many like famous comics
All right,
come in
Ian,
here and they
thank you,
can't
buddy.
hang.
We dredge up
Thanks.
all his old terrible takes and just throw them in his face.
Yeah, it's 4-on-1. We would out alpha anybody.
And real quick about Belichick.
It just is.
And
It
again,
is what
I
it
can
is.
see why fans wouldn't want a 72-year-old guy with that aura, like he claims, to come in a room and just own the room. But to call him a bad coach without Brady, I just think it's a farce. He's not
He's
a bad
great coach, but he hasn't been successful without Brady.
He hasn't. But he took in Mac Jones' rookie year. Mac Jones is a bad, overdrafted quarterback. He took them to the playoffs in his rookie year. He won 10 games with that team.
I think that's the one time.
It's the one
Done.
time. And obviously
10
the last couple
seasons.
years, he went 8-9 the next year, and then this year was awful. I get it. But I think if you give him talent, all right, he doesn't necessarily have to go pick the talent, but if you give him talent, he's a great coach and can win games as long as he's just the X's and O's guy.